Ashley Wright from letstalkracestyle.com, and I have been trying to get this video out, honey. So today, we're going to talk about Lil Kim, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. The bigger aspect at whole is vindication, okay? So let me start by saying, I know you know, or if you know me personally, or you've been following me, like I am a hardcore, pun intended, Lil Kim fan, right? So I have all of her albums, always have, whatever she comes out with. I love Lil Kim was the first female rapper to be sexy, to be a girl, to be a girly girl. Do you understand what I'm saying? Women were still, shout out to Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Salt and Pepper. I love them too, right? But for me, Lil Kim was it because she was a girly girl like myself, She was the first female rapper to start wearing high heels, and she talked trash about men like men talk trash about women in songs. And that was like a whole nother level of women empowerment, right? Mind you, I was 11 when Hardcore came out, but I did have the album, and I had the Junior Mafia album. So anyway, just to, give you a little tea on that. So it was like a big deal. And not only that, but Lil Kim was like invited on all these different talk shows. She was on, I think the show was called, I think the show was called Yolanda or Rolanda, or it could have been two shows, Yolanda and Rolanda. But anyway, people were giving her, women in particular, were giving her a hard time. Like, you're saying these things, they're explicit. And what are young girls supposed to think? And, Kim just took a lot of heat for all the girlies right now in rap that dress sexy and have explicit or provocative, flat out nasty lyrics, right? Kim was the first person to do that. So Lil Kim paved the way for your Nicki Minaj, for your Cardi B, for your Lotto, for Sweetie. I could go on and on. For the City Girls. They got a song on their first album called Feeling Like Lil Kim. So, and Trina, right? And Kim even came out before Foxy Brown. Shout out to Foxy Brown. Love her too. But she took a lot of heat for that. You know what I mean? And there was a point in time in the industry, because we all know the music industry is trash. If you didn't know that before, you found out in the last 3 to 5 years that the industry is trash. People do whatever for money. But Kim was always sharing the platform. When Kim came out, it wasn't just Kim. It was Kim. It was Foxy Brown. It was Lauryn Hill. It was Missy Elliott. It was just a tribe of girls, and that's what made the era so authentic, so awesome. The music was hard. The Brat. Like, it was just great because it showed women supporting other women. Even though their rap styles, Lauryn Hill's rap style and Lil Kim's rap style are totally different, right? But like I said, Kim was the one to start with the sexy clothes and the high heels and all of those things, right? So when Kim said 13 years ago that Nicki Minaj wanted to be the only one, she was on the Breakfast Club, and she said, that's all I'm going to say. You just watch and you see. Nicki has started a rap beef, period, with so many women, I lost count. I actually have a screenshot that someone typed out of like all the women that Nicki has beef with for no reason. Like, she started the beef. For example, SZA. Who beefs with SZA? Please tell me that. SZA and Nicki Minaj are not even on the same vibration. Like, who does that? Which is why she ended up beefing with herself, because no one, you're not going to play along with that. But Cardi B, on the other hand, is going to give you what you've been asking for. And I just feel like Now, I know Nicki is going to come out with more music. Like, her fans expect her to. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. Her and I are around the same age. Actually, she's a couple years older than me. But I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. When she has a song that I like, you know, a bop is a bop. I'm not against that. But I'm never going to support someone who constantly drags women. I say this all the time, that sometimes women are the biggest misogynists on the planet. All because they want to fit in with men, honestly. That's my take on it. So I just don't respect that at all. I don't respect wanting to be the only. You can't be the only one. What? No, that doesn't make any sense. You can't be the only one. Now, all the girlies still look up to her, but she even gets mad when people say, like, Lotto, Sweetie says this all the time. Like, my mom used to listen to Lil Kim. Meg Thee Stallion said the same thing. Like, oh, I started learning about sexy rap. Her mom was an artist too, but her mom used to listen to Lil Kim. Like, that is the base. That's everybody's base when it comes to sexy dressing, nasty lyrics, all of that. All of that comes from Lil Kim. So for a person to come in the industry and dominate the industry, because Nicki did, dominated the industry but closed out other artists, including Kim, is trash. That's just trash behavior. And I know, you know, the Barbs are not going to agree with that because most of them are psychopaths anyway. That are obsessed with this woman. That's a whole nother topic at hand. But at some point, you got to have a moral code or a moral compass. And on that level, as far as Nicki Minaj, trying to pay off the person her husband raped, take off the G, trying to pay them off, trying to deny it, calling, threatening her, and marrying a pedophile in general is quite disgusting. However, I do understand that she comes from a background of those sorts of things happening. Remember, she paid for her brother's wedding and her brother was raping his girlfriend's daughter. Yes. So to me, I feel like you lack a moral compass. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know people who have family members that are predators and they don't deal with them. They don't deal with them because it's wrong what you're doing. You're harming children. And even Cassie said, when she was asked in court, did she reach out to any other women that were in the industry for help? And she said, yeah, she reached out to Nicki Minaj. And Nicki said, girl, that happens to everybody. What? And I believe she's telling the truth. It does happen, but if something like that happened to me, I would not want that to happen to the next person. I would be trying to steer the person clear of these things and these people because they're not good for you and no one should have to experience that. But that's not her ministry. Okay, back to Cardi B. Cardi B came out with this album and cut up. Okay, let's start there. She cut up because Magnet, Pretty and Petty, I was already listening to Outside in the summer, but that's one of my top songs. Cardi B is a Libra woman, and she is going to be super petty with whomever is super petty with her. And you cannot blame her for that. You're online talking about somebody's kid being ugly. Why are you talking about kids in general? Because she's the same person that said she wouldn't talk about anybody's kids. But she started talking about Cardi B's kids, knowing that's a trigger for her, which is why she did it. And then when Cardi B responds with facts, she's upset and everybody's in an uproar. Like, well, they both went low. No. Nicki went low and Cardi B responded, which you can't expect someone not to respond, especially, like I said, knowing that Cardi's kids are her trigger, and just why would you do that in general? Long story short, Kim was vindicated. Nicki has beef with everybody. Everybody. She beef with Mariah Carey, Missy Elliott, Lotto, Kim, Cardi. I'm going to post that list. I'm going to find that list. At the end of the day, Lil Kim is vindicated when she said she, as in Nicki, wanted to be the only one. Watch and you will see. And all we have seen is her try to tear other women down, and cause conflict and confrontation with them for no reason. Literally picking fights like my 7th graders. That's what they're doing. Picking fights. She's picking fights like little kids, like 7th graders. And then she has this army of people supporting her via online. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. And she really should call her fans, like, calm down, because they literally going to rampage, like threatening people and doing all types of things. It's just like, is it that serious? Is it that serious? I'm a fan of Kim, but I'm not. Listen, I'm just going to simply tell you what it is and what it's not. But I'm not going to insult what you look like or anything else, because I just feel like that's unnecessary. But at the end of the day, vindication. So I say this to say, we spend a lot of time trying to defend ourselves, our characters, our names, our reputation, etc., right? And really, what I have learned is, regardless of what you say, people are going to believe whatever it is that they want to believe anyway. So you might as well just say, keep it at, you know what, that's not the truth. But if that's what you think, then we're just going to leave it at that. Trust and believe. Whether it's tomorrow, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years from that day, that person will find out that whatever it is they thought was not true, and you will be vindicated. I have learned that, because the more you try to explain, the more people don't believe you. It's insane, but it's really like you're trying to protect yourself. Like, no, I wouldn't do anything like that. But you always get vindication. And you know who else is the queen of vindication? Kenya Summer Moore, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Detroit native, like myself. She is always vindicated. You can say what you want about Kenya, but Kenya does not lie. And Candy said that. Everything that woman has said on that show has come to be true, has turned out to be true. Whether it took a year, whether it took 2 years, however long it took, she has always been vindicated. And I can absolutely respect that. I can respect not getting in the mud with someone to prove your point or demonstrate who you are, but letting them stay with their thoughts and whatever it is, and you'll be vindicated in the end. And you just have to be comfortable with that. You just have to be comfortable about whatever it is that someone is saying about you, especially if it's not true. And it's a hard thing to do, because that's a hard thing for me. But I've learned so much in 2025. Like, I'm probably going to do a 2025 video, an end of year video, which I almost never do anymore. But I just feel the need, because I've just learned so much within this year that it's crazy. And vindication is one of them. Allow people to think whatever it is that they want to think about you. You know who you are. The Most High knows who you are. And the people who love you and truly want to be around you know your heart and your spirit. So why even stress about someone who doesn't mean anything? And even if they do, so what? You'll be vindicated. So let's just leave it at that. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I think I'm going to actually write a blog about this. This was supposed to be way shorter. I think I'm going to write a blog about vindication in general. And if I do, I will leave it in the comments. But for now, I'm just going to post this video. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Smooches.